the most well-thought-out kids show out there today. But did you know that this means almost every episode is connected to another? Take, for example, the episode Pass the Parcel from Season 3, where all the families gather with their kids to play the game. There's a debate among the parents because Lucky's dad doesn't like the rule that everyone gets a prize. So he changes the rules to the traditional version, where there's just one big prize in the final layer, instead of small prizes in every layer. At first, the kids hate this, and so do their parents. But with each birthday, they start to appreciate Lucky's dad's idea. They begin to enjoy the anticipation and mystery of who will win the big prize and what it will be. The lesson here comes from Bingo's perspective. She starts to learn how to lose and realizes that it's also fun to see her friends happy when they win great prizes. Eventually, she stops caring so much about whether she wins the big prize or not. Then, in the final scene, Lucky's dad dramatically pauses the music, and the prize ends up in Bingo's hands. She celebrates winning a bird-shaped kite. The kite even appears in the credits, showing that she immediately went off to play with her new toy. But, as with all kids' toys, they eventually lose interest and move on to something else. This is exactly what we see at the start of the episode Dirt. Later, in Season 3, that's the episode where Judo wants to play with Bluey, but Bluey and Bingo are busy playing in the mud. Judo can't join in because her mom says taking care of her Chow Chow's white fur takes too long. The detail of the kite from Pass the Parcel is right there in the opening scene of this episode. It ties into what I said about kids abandoning their toys. Look closely in the corner. You'll see the kite stuck in a tree in the healer's yard, forgotten. So, you know what time it is. Grab your detective magnifying glasses and let's analyze which Bluey episodes have clever connections with each other here on the Zigzag channel. Another example happens in the episode Takeaway, where Bandit has to wait for the spring rolls he always orders to be ready. They could have easily left with the main order, which was ready when they arrived, but Bandit needs his spring rolls. That's when chaos ensues, because Bluey and Bingo are kids. They can't sit still and start causing mischief. Eventually, we reach the moment that connects to another episode. The two girls start playing waiter and customer, and for that, they grab the real menu from the restaurant where they were picking up food. That very same menu appears in the opening scene of the episode The Pool, where it's a sweltering hot day in Brisbane, and Chili is fanning herself with something in her hand. And look at that! It's the menu from the day Bandit picked up food. There's no denying it. If you compare them side by side, it's exactly the same. How many loose restaurant menus do you have at home? Leave your answer in the comments with the hashtag menu so we can find out. This other connection is funny because it shows how the healer's neglect lasted for over a year. At the beginning of Season 2, there's that hilarious episode where Bandit, Stripe, and Lucky's dad try to remove 2 tree stumps from Bandit's yard. While they struggle with the stumps, the girls are playing beauty salon right on top of one of the stumps they're trying to get rid of. This episode is super funny because Bandit explains in detail that they'll remove the stump Bluey, Bingo, and Muffin are playing on as soon as they finish with the current one. And when the time comes, Bluey declares she never agreed to that. Chili has chaotic energy and joins in on the girls' game from afar, pretending that Bandit and the guys are an evil corporation destroying the planet, and tells them to leave the stump alone. But Bandit, confused, replies, "Wait, wasn't it you who wanted me to get rid of the stump in the first place?" Chili realizes he's right. She wants to build a fish pond in its place. The episode goes on, the stump gets removed, and the yard is left with an awful giant hole. Just a reminder, this is episode 6 of Season 2. It's only in episode 32 of the next season that Chili finally manages to hire the tradies to make the hole bigger and build the fish pond she'd been wanting for over a year. That episode is also great because Bluey and Bingo spy on the contractors as if they're villains, and by the end, they all end up eating ice cream together on the sidewalk. Another connection between episodes that has become an Easter egg hunt for Bluey fans is the famous long dog. Literally, every episode of Bluey has one hidden in some scene, but we've picked just the ones that tie into the storyline of the specific episode. The first one happens in the episode Duck Cake, where Bingo wants Bandit to bake a duck-shaped cake she saw and loved. As expected with Bandit's cooking, everything is a disaster. He can't get the cake batter to form the duck shape, and it ends up looking completely deformed. He starts feeling sad and defeated because of it. In the scene where he kneels down in frustration, you can spot the long dog on a shelf in the background, holding a kitchen utensil. This reflects the problem Bandit is struggling with in the kitchen. Another themed long dog appears when Aunt Brandy visits the girls for the first time and gifts them matching costume pajamas, zebra for Bluey and leopard for Bingo. In the scene where Aunt Brandy arrives and rings the doorbell, the girls are running excitedly to meet her. If you look closely at the bottom left corner of the screen, under the side table, there's a long dog dressed as a leopard, just like the pajamas Bingo receives shortly after. Another one of these themed Easter eggs can be found in the episode we already mentioned in this video, the one where Judo can't join Bluey and Bingo playing in the mud. At the very beginning of the episode, while Judo's mom is grooming her fur in the bathroom, if you look closely at the right side of the screen, behind the bathtub, there's the long dog again. This time, it's sporting long hair, just like Judo's. Another reference that hops from one episode to another happens in Baby Race and Dad Baby. We're talking about the baby carrier Bandit used to hold his daughters close while keeping his hands free when they were very little. Bingo finds it at the beginning of Dad Baby, and the rest of the episode has Bandit poking fun at what Chili was like when she was pregnant, with Bingo curled up snugly inside the carrier. But the second time we see the baby carrier is actually the first time it was ever used, because it appears in an episode that's essentially a flashback, Baby Race. That's the episode where Chili tells Bluey and Bingo the story of Bluey's first steps. At one point, while baby Bluey is still in diapers rolling on the floor, we see Bandit in the background wearing the baby carrier for the first time and struggling to clip the buckles properly on his back. It's a quick moment, but eagle-eyed viewers definitely laughed and pointed at the screen, saying, "Hey, that's from the other episode!" While you're at it, channel your inner Leo DiCaprio meme moment and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to click the bell to get notifications for our new videos. This next connection ties multiple episodes together and happens in Perfect, where Bluey and Bingo are tasked with making a Father's Day card for Bandit. Bluey gets caught up in trying to make her drawing perfect, even though she doesn't quite know what that means. At one point, Chili goes to pin Bingo's drawing on the fridge, which is already covered with other drawings, and that's where we see the connections. In the top left corner, there's an upside-down dog. That's Mia, from the episode where Bluey and Mackenzie are playing at school with the stones and the flowing water called Rocky Boats. Right next to Mia's drawing, there's one of Socks and Muffin. It's hilarious because whoever drew it, they perfectly captured the personalities of the cousins, especially Muffin. Below Mia, there's a red wagon, the same one Bandit pulled throughout the episode Wagon Ride. That day must have been such a memorable day for the girls that it earned a spot on the fridge. Just under the red wagon, there's a very special reference, the magic xylophone. This one's particularly nostalgic because it's from the very first episode of the entire series, where we're introduced to the healers, and the girls freeze Bandit with a tap of the instrument. Right below that, there's a drawing from the Duck Cake episode, which was almost certainly made by Bingo, since it's the cake she asked for on her birthday. At the base of all these drawings, there's an adorable one referencing Aunt Frisky and Uncle Rad, who fell in love in the episode where they babysit the girls, called Double Babysitter. And, of course, we can't forget Unicorse, the most chaotic puppet to ever exist in children's animation. These little references are so cool because they feel like a reward for fans who pause the episodes to investigate all the details placed there specifically for us to uncover. And another connection between episodes that dives into deeper details starts in the famous video call episode with Muffin and Socks. What happens after Muffin hogs the call and eventually steals Stripe's phone plays out more subtly in the background. Stripe and Trixie arguing about how to handle Muffin properly. One thing that stands out in this episode is how Socks seems completely unfazed by her parents' arguments. It's like she's so used to it that it doesn't affect her anymore. So, can you guess which episode we're going to mention again? If you guessed The Sign, you're absolutely right. Seriously, this episode has so many details that I don't think we'll ever catch them all. Don't you agree? But let's stay on track here. As the episode progresses and the party unfolds, we can see Uncle Stripe getting increasingly excited and even a bit chaotic in a way. Trixie isn't happy about this at all and keeps trying to ground him, so to speak. But he just doesn't listen. Later on, we see Socks playing with the cake decorations, moving them around as if she's acting out an argument between a husband and wife. Why would she do that? Well, because she's already so used to it. Her parents are arguing again, and we can see this happening in real time. In the background of the same scene, a popular fan theory suggests that if Socks is so accustomed to this, it's because Stripe and Trixie must argue daily, and this could potentially lead to a divorce. Personally, I think this theory doesn't hold up. While Bluey is a show that can handle delicate and even sad topics, there's no reason for them to address divorce with Stripe and Trixie, as they've already explored this with Cornelius, Winton's dad, and the terrier's mom. What I believe the animators are showing here is that normal couples sometimes argue. It's natural. Arguing doesn't mean they don't love each other anymore or need to split up. In fact, in the very same video call episode, they argue because they each have a different approach to handling the situation. But by the end, they come to an agreement, make up, and solve the muffin problem together. That's why I firmly believe this divorce theory doesn't make sense. What do you think? And those were some more clever and hard-to-spot connections between Bluey episodes. Let us know your favorite in the comments. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, we've got another special video about Bluey episode connections ready for you. It's the one popping up on your screen right now. Just click and enjoy. See you there. Bye for now.